And as always, this first part of class, just really a chance to settle ourselves, settle the body, settle the breath, and settle the mind, which actually is the hardest part to settle. So we'll just start by really noticing and observing the body, right through the body. Just feel the weight of your body as it presses down into the mat, into the floor. And just feel any tightness. Just releasing, feel like you're melting down into your mat. And then you can start a gentle tracking up the body from the tips of the toes, tuning in with the different parts of your body, especially around the joints. This is where we tend to hold tightness in the joints, ankles and knees and hips. Softening and relaxing, releasing the lower back and the glutes. Relaxing the spine and the shoulders and the neck. Relaxing your arms. Relaxing around the jaw, the eyebrows and the forehead. And even the scalp, if you can just tune into your scalp. Just see if you can relax, that you're not gripping anywhere around the top of your head. And then starting to slow down and lengthen the breath. Start to breathe more deeply. Start to really notice the movement of the breath in the belly, allowing the belly to rise and fall with each inhale and exhale. And then also being aware not only of the breath in the belly area, but allowing the breath to move from the belly into the rib cage expanding, that you're growing wider with each breath. And also feeling the breath rising from the belly to the ribs, finishing in the chest, right up into the collarbones, almost up into the throat, but not allowing any tightness in the throat. And then just set yourself the intention that for the remaining the rest of the class, that you are just going to maintain this conscious breathing, this breath in, this breath out, fully under your control, and that we use this breath to keep our minds focused on our bodies through our practice. And then gently, when you're ready, hug your knees into your chest and just rock from side to side, loosening the lower back. And then taking the arms wide, we'll drop both knees to the right, turn the head to the left, stretch out through the fingertips. And then bringing the knees up and over, and we'll just switch sides. Again, just allowing the knees to fall to the earth, stretch out through the fingertips again. And just feel length out through your arms as you soften that twist into your spine. And then bringing the knees back up, we'll place the feet flat on the floor. Cross the right ankle over the left knee and gently pull the left knee into the chest, squeezing your right knee away and feeling that stretch into the hip and glutes. And then placing the left foot down, we'll just extend the right leg up and breathe into the back of the leg. Just feeling the heel press upwards towards the ceiling and trying to just straighten the knee as much as you can. And then we'll release, placing the foot back down and crossing the left ankle over the right knee. And then pulling the right knee in, stretching into that glute. And then placing the right foot down and extending the left leg up towards the ceiling. Squeezing the heel up towards the sky and just trying to straighten into the back of the knee as much as you can. And then gently release. We'll just move it to happy baby pose, catching a hold outside the feet, allowing the knees to drop into the armpits. A slight rock from side to side, just help free up the hips here. And we'll release. And then we'll gently roll to the right hand side. You can press your way up to sitting. And we'll extend the legs out in front and gently reach forwards. Try and catch a hold of your legs and use the grip of your hands to gently pull length into your spine and through your arms, up into your shoulders, and allow gravity to just take your upper body down towards your legs. And then just breathe into all those tight areas in the backs of the legs, but also the shoulders and spine, maybe the neck as well. Breathing deeply. And gently releasing, we'll come back up and we'll swing the legs around. So we're going to take a couple of rounds of regular cat-cow, and then we're going to add some wrist openers to our cat-cow this evening. So just placing the wrists under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. Take a moment just to pull your belly in and make sure that your pelvis is stable here and level. Then pull your shoulder blades down your back so that your shoulders move away from your ears. And then we can drop the belly as we lift the chin and take our inhale. And as you exhale, really rounding the spine, tucking chin to the chest, really pressing the mat away and feeling that stretch between your shoulder blades and the belly pulling in. And then releasing down, coming back to your inhale, getting as much arch in the spine there as you can. And then exhaling, pushing the mat away. Let's take one more, just move at your own pace. And this time, you're going to turn the wrists. Now, ideally, your hand would go all the way pointing back, but if that feels too much on your wrists, you can just turn them around as far as you feel comfortable to do so. If you can get the fingertips pointing back, you'll really feel that good stretch through the wrist. And then you can take a couple more cat-cows here. The movement will be a little bit harder as you press the mat away, but you should feel that strong stretch through the forearms and wrists. And then for our final set of cat-cows, we're going to attempt to do them on the tops of the hands. So you'll want to back off probably off the hands, put more weight in the knees and hips by just taking the hips back a bit. But ideally, the fingertips are pointing back and you're getting the whole hand flat to the wrist. And just see how that feels. And then once again, just a gentle rounding and arching of the spine and feeling that stretch into your wrist. And then we'll sink the hips back and stretch the hands forwards and just drop down into child's pose and just soften and release the body. And then we're just coming up to 4-point kneeling, once again, just setting up wrists and knees under shoulders and hips. And we'll start to work a little bit more through the core. So pulling the shoulders away from the ears, really get that space between your ears and your shoulders, and then suck your belly button in and make sure your pelvis is in neutral here. And then you're going to extend your right arm forwards, but I want you to try not to move the shoulders and hips at all as you do so. So mentally transfer the weight into the left hand before you move so that there's no jerking transition. And then you're just going to bring that arm down and see if you can switch sides without any movement in the body except the arm floating up. So everything very stable through the shoulder girdle. And I will do the same with the legs. And again, you want to really power through the core so that there's no shift in the hips as you extend the right leg back and then transfer the weight. And see if you can free up the left leg without the hips moving. So lots of core strength required to get this movement. And then again, you can just drop back, hips to heels, and stretch the hands forwards, soften the body, reset your breath. And then we'll set 4-point kneeling again. And you're going to add a twist in this time. So we're going to lift the right arm up to the ceiling and transfer the weight into the left. So as you press through the left hand, really try and lift out of your left shoulder and then reach up through the right fingers and then start to ease your right shoulder back so that you really feel movement in the shoulder girdle. Take another breath here. And then we'll thread the right arm under the left and take the right cheek and shoulder to the floor and press the left hand into the mat to try and twist your shoulders. See if you can look up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing through the left hand. And we'll release and come back to 4-point kneeling and switch sides. So again, put the weight into the right hand, but make sure you're not here collapsed into the right shoulder. Look how much more space I can make in my shoulder just by engaging the shoulder and pressing the mat away. So you really want to get that extension away. And then lift up through the left arm and peel the left shoulder back so that you're really getting that twist. No collapse in the right shoulder. And then we'll float it under and through, taking the left ear to the floor and the left shoulder. And then press through the right fingertips so that you twist the shoulders round. Good. And then just come back up to 4-point kneeling and 2 rounds of cat-cow at your own pace just to free everything back up. Get as much breath and movement as you can. And then once again, sink it back into child's pose. And stretch the fingertips out in front. Final little stretch we're going to do in this section. And we come at it from 4-point kneeling again, so just picking up the hips. But this time you're going to place the elbows roughly where the hands were and catch the hands together. So keep pushing your bum up into the air. You may need to walk your elbow. I'm quite flexible, so I can get quite low into this, so I wouldn't need my elbows coming forward. So just bring your elbows forwards enough that you can really try and sink your chest to the floor. So you're literally trying to touch your breast to the floor and feel that stretch through the shoulder blades. And you can rest your head down and just be passive in the stretch. And then reset hands where elbows were, tuck toes, and make your way to downward facing dog. And here in dog, you can just pedal out through the heels, bending one leg at a time, pressing the opposite heel to the floor. And then we'll drop both knees and we'll step the right foot back between the hands and come to a hip flexor stretch. So you can be up on your fingertips if that helps, and you're just going to be sinking the hips to the floor. So make sure that your ankle's under your knee and your back knee is far enough away that you can get the hips sinking down, not lifting up. And then the shoulders roll back and chest lifts. And we're looking for a stretch here. So if you're not feeling much of a stretch, you may want to move one or both hands to this knee, and that increases the stretch. I actually find the stretch works best for me with the opposite arm lifting. So for me, the left arm stretches up and I can really get the hips sinking down. Just feel that stretch. And then we'll put a twist in, so left hand down and right hand up. Good, release. Step it back to down dog. And once again, just pedal out through the heels here. Feel that stretch into the Achilles and calves as you lengthen each heel to the floor. And then we'll drop both knees again and step the left foot through. And find that hip flexor stretch on this side. However it feels good to you, maybe keeping both hands down, maybe hands to the knee, maybe lifting one or both arms. And then we'll switch hands and take a twist. Reaching up through those left fingertips, peeling the left shoulder back and the right shoulder forwards, and just opening through the chest as you do so. Great. Let's release. We'll step the back foot forwards. And once again, just take this forward fold, allowing the arms to hang heavy here. Feeling length through the back of the neck. And the spine lengthening as your heavy head pulls your spine longer. Gravity helping you here. And then we'll slowly roll up through the spine, suck the belly in, soften the knees, roll up. Coming all the way up, we'll just press open the chest, squeezing the knuckles away. And then opening through the upper back, pressing the palms away and rounding your spine. And release, have a little shake out, a little drink if you need one. So we're just going to take a sort of free flow routine today because we were going to start week 1 of our 4-week series, but there seems no point really in doing that. So we'll do that when all this is over. So I'm just going to make up a bit of a sequence and we'll take it nice and steady. We'll hold things for a while. And really it's just a chance. I'm not going to be heavy on the teaching tonight. So it's just really a chance to move and breathe. So don't worry too much about the perfect pose or the posture or the alignment or where your feet should be. Just get into a place where it doesn't feel painful and that you can sort of rest in the pose, and then just really focus on your breathing and get that sort of breathing meditation going on. So let's start at the front of the mat. We'll start with just a regular simple sun salutation that you've done lots of times with me already. Let's inhale, the arms lift up. And exhale, we'll fold to the floor. We'll step the right leg back and drop the knee into the low lunge, and we'll float the arms up, and we'll just settle in our low lunge for a couple of breaths. Hips sink low, chest is lifting, and shoulders down. Good. Take an inhale here. And then we'll exhale, release the hands to the floor. And we'll step back, either taking the knees down into modified plank, or you can lift up into regular plank. And just make sure your hips are low, whichever variation you're in. So Sharon, just come forwards and drop your hips a little. There you are. That's perfect. Shoulders away from the ears. Breathe. Good. And Eve, you might want to just lift the hips up a fraction. They're just sinking a bit. Perfect. Knees first, and then we bend the elbows back and we take ourselves onto our bellies. So a little bit of tricep work on the way down. Squeeze the elbows in. Inhale up to your baby cobra, shoulders away from the ears. You can take the tops of the feet to the floor here, just resting them down, and then we'll push back into child. So cobra, we take the tops of the feet down. It just gives us a little bit more room to back bend. Tucking the toes under, we'll move to downward facing dog. Just setting up your dog with your hands as wide as your shoulders and your fingers spread evenly, and then the heels pressing down. Sharon, just walk your hands forwards. Your dog's a little bit short. You can make it a bit longer. Even more? Even come forwards a little bit more? Good. Lovely. Now pull your shoulders away from your ears and just soften your head so that your neck is part of your spine. It's in the same line as your spine. Good, that looks nice. Great, everyone drop the knees and we'll step the right foot back between the hands. And we'll come back up to our high lunge. Great. Shoulders away from the ears, chest lifting, breath steady. Janet, see if you can come from here to here. A little bit more. That's it. It's tightness in the shoulders. Yeah, it'll come. It'll come. Good, really nice. Hands come down. We'll step the back foot forwards. Half lift as you inhale. And as you exhale, you can just run your hands down your legs. See if you can catch either your ankles or your shins or calves. And then just start to pull with your hands to get your head towards your knees. Relax your shoulders a little bit. Pull your belly in. Breathe. And then relax the hands down, slightly soften the knees, and then roll up one vertebra at a time. Coming up to stand, perfect. Inhale, the arms lift up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good, let's do all that again. Inhaling, the arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to step the left leg back and drop the knee down. And this time we'll take a pulse through the left side. Inhale, reaching up, the hips lift. Exhale, can you sink the hips down? Good. Inhale, lift up. Good. Exhale, sink. One more time. And then see how deep you can get into that lunge so that you're really feeling this stretch through the front of the right hip, left hip. Take a breath. And then hands come down. Inhale, stepping either to plank or modified plank, knees up or down. Get the hips low and the belly pulled in. Great, so Sharon, come to plank. Drop your hips for me. That's it, and look forwards. Good, so your bum's a little bit like this at the moment. There you go, even more, even more, even more. Come down even more, even more. There you go, there you go. Now pull your shoulders away from your ears. Look slightly more forwards. There you go. Now it's nice. Does it feel okay? I forgot to put the light on for the... Good. And then everyone drop the knees. And then see how slowly, with your elbows not bending that way, but bending that way. So they're going backwards. See how slowly you can come down using your tricep muscles. Pelvis comes down. And then you roll through your belly. Good. So hopefully you felt some work here, yeah, in your triceps. As we get stronger, our triceps get stronger, and then we can really control that lowering to the floor. And we don't get chicken wings anymore, which is a good thing. Inhale, lift. Not saying you guys do have chicken wings, but saying we can prevent them with yoga. Let's push back into child's pose. Resting hips to heels, just reset your breath for a minute. And then when you're ready, tucking the toes and pushing into down dog. Just setting up your dog. Good, now push your hips up. That's it, yeah, and now heels squeeze down. Left. Perfect. Right, let's inhale. Come up high on your toes, lifting your heels up. As you exhale, squeeze the heels into the floor. Let's take two more like that. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, squeezing down. One more. Eve, just make your dog longer for me. Walk your hands forwards a bit more. That's it. And now squeeze your heels down. Great. Shoulders away from the ears. Just having a quick look at you all tonight because I won't see you for a while. Give one more breath there. And then we'll drop the knees and we'll step the left foot through. And we'll come to our pulse on the left side. So if the foot gets stuck, that means your hip flexors are just a bit tight. So you can just use your hands to get it forwards. But make sure that you do get it far enough forwards that this part of your leg is straight. So you don't want it at an angle like that or like that. You want it straight, directly knee above ankle. And then that really protects the knee and gives you space to drop the hips. We'll come up for our pulse, inhale, and then you can straighten the knee a bit. And then you exhale and you soften into it. Good. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, soften. Good. One more time. That's allowing the hip flexor just a little bit more of a stretch each time we pulse down. Good. And then sink into your deepest stretch and try hold it there for a breath. Great. Hands come down. We'll step the back foot forwards. Inhaling with a flat back. Exhale, just slide down your legs and take a pull with the arms to get the head towards the knees. You should feel this right through the back of the body. And then releasing and softening to roll up with a strong belly to support your lower back as you come up. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Just close the eyes for a moment. Reset that connection with your breath, your mind, and your body. Good. And then just release and shake things out. We'll move into some standing poses. So we'll put our standing poses in a sun salutation flow. So we'll inhale, the arms lift up, and we'll exhale, folding down to the ground. This time, as you step your right leg back, turn your foot out and get your heel to the floor. But you want a nice long stance. So you want about the length of one of your legs to be able to sit between your feet. Good. So Sharon, just bring the front foot forwards, almost, between your hands. So a little bit further forwards. That's it. Good. That's it. Don't worry. I know it's because you've got the tight hip flexor. Then bend your front knee and slowly come up, using your engaged belly to float the upper body up overhead. Now, can you straighten your back leg and lunge into your front leg? Janet, just turn your toes forwards a little bit more. Your back toes, forwards towards me. That's it. So to do that, you can step the back foot in a little bit and then lift your heel, push it away, and then place it back down. That's the best way to get the toes forward. So you lift your heel, you pivot on the ball of your foot, and then you get your heel down. Because you want to be facing forwards, not sideways. So shoulders both pointing towards me if possible. And then we float the arms up, and I know you'll be really feeling this at the outside edge of your back leg, and hopefully not in your knee. If you are feeling it in your knee, just lift your heel up. Otherwise, try and press that heel away, and then just take a couple of breaths in Warrior One. If you're struggling with your balance, press into the back foot a little bit. Don't come too far forward with your weight. Good. We're going to put a pulse here because I want to see these front knees if they can bend a little bit more. Inhale, come up. Exhale, can you go deeper another inch? 2 more. Inhale, good. Just see if you can straighten your, lovely. Exhale, down. 1 more time. How low can you go? Challenge those hips. This front thigh should be working strong. Take a breath down in your lunge. This is Warrior One. And just release. Give your arms a little rest. And then turn your shoulders and hips towards the windows. Keep your front toes facing me. And your back toes can now turn out to 90 degrees towards the windows. Good. Now float your arms up again. Pull your belly in. Keep. And then lunge into your front knee. So Eve, just have your arms out now. That's it. And look towards the front of the room. Good, so bring your arms to there. Good, palms down, lovely. Now you may feel this happening, so just take a moment to get the knee pressing out. Then you'll feel it more into your inner groin. And then draw your shoulders towards you. Good, take 1 more breath. Can you sink another ½ inch down? Great. Yeah, it should feel slightly uncomfortable, but hopefully not painful. And then we'll just release that. We're going to put one more pose in here. Give yourself a break. So keep the legs where they are. We're going to take the same pose with the legs, and we're going to rest the elbow on the knee. And then float the arm up and over into what's called side angle pose. So the fingertips come all the way to me. So bring them all the way over so that your tricep or bicep is close to your ear. Palm faces down. And now can you look towards your fingertips? If that's uncomfortable in your neck, then you can look forwards. But if you can just lift your gaze and your chin and look towards your fingertips, keep the hips low. Take one more breath. Really nice poses, everyone. Good. And then slowly come back up. We're going to turn the toes in. And taking the hands to the hips, we'll just take a wide-legged forward bend. Inhale, lift the chest slightly as you take a breath in. Exhale, just fold halfway so that your back's flat and you can lengthen through the crown of the head. Suck the belly in. Strengthen the legs. You want to really lift through the inner arches of your feet and press through the outside edges of your feet. And then just go passive. So drop the hands down to the floor. Let gravity take you. Relax your head and neck. And let everything be heavy in the stretch for a moment. Good work. Then walk your hands towards the left foot. And as you do so, turn to face me. And we're just going to step the back foot to plank, the front foot to plank, sorry. Engaging that core, shoulders away from the ears. Yes, Sharon, perfect, good. Just look forward slightly, that's it. You want your neck to be a part of your spine, so it's in the same line as your spine. Then drop the knees, and again, we'll work those triceps as we slowly bend the elbows to come down onto our bellies. And then just flip your feet, tops of the feet to the floor. We'll take a nice high cobra, lifting and opening the space at the front of the body. And then take your child's pose, pressing the hips to the heels. And then just making your way to 4-point kneeling. We're going to do one more round of those core exercises we did in warm-up. So making sure that your weight is evenly distributed between your palms of your hands and your knees here. And then pull your belly button in towards your spine and try and keep your shoulders and hips still as you extend your right arm out towards me. And then slowly release. And nothing moves except the left arm floats up and releases. And then nothing moves except the right leg extends away, belly still pulled in and coming back down. And then the left leg extends away and gently comes back. Good. And then from there, we're going to step the right foot between the hands. If you need to use your hands to bring it forwards, that's fine. And then we'll sink the hips and we'll come up to our low lunge. And this time we'll put a little twist in, so bringing the hands to the heart. Get your twist first as you turn towards the windows, and then lean forwards and see if you can take the elbow outside the knee. And then pressing the elbow into the outside of that knee will help you twist your shoulders round. Enjoy that twist through the spine. And then we'll release, taking the hands down. so that you can step that back foot forwards and just slide into your forward bend, catching a hold of your legs. Then release the hands and slowly roll up through your spine. As you come up, we'll roll, lift the arms, and bring the hands back to the heart. Just reset your breath there for a moment. And we'll repeat on the other side. Inhaling, the arms lift up. Exhale, forward folding down. And then you'll just walk that left leg back and turn the heel down so that the heels are lined up. Make sure the feet aren't crossing because that will really affect the balance. So give your hips space by making sure the feet are quite wide as well as long apart from each other. Then bending the front knee and using your core to lift you up. Bring the arms overhead. Shoulders are facing me. Toes are at about 45 degrees if you can get them pointing that far forwards. So again, you can lift the heel, pivot on the ball of the foot, and then press the heel down. Good. And if it feels hard to press it down, just step the back foot in a little bit, and that will give you a little bit more length. Good. Shoulders down. We're going to pulse into the front knee to get nice and deep into this bend. Inhale, straighten the knee. Exhale, bend a little more. Good. 2 more. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. See how deep you can go. Hold the pose, but keep those breaths, deep breaths flowing. Just straighten your elbows if you can. Good. 1 more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. And then gently release. So you're going to turn the hips and shoulders to face the wall. The back toes are at 90 degrees. The front toes face me. Good. And then we'll float those arms up. And as you bend the front knee, remember you want the knees squeezing open, not falling forwards. The chest is lifting. And then if you can, look towards your front foot. So Sharon, come towards me. Sorry. So your left toes turn forwards. Your left toes point forwards. No, other way. Yes, sorry. Towards me, I'm losing my ability to speak. Exactly. So left toes point directly forwards and your right toes point to the wall. No, I'm saying the wrong way, aren't I? Your right toes. That's what I meant. You should have known. Your right toes point forwards towards me. So you want to look like that. That's it. Yeah, sorry, because I'm mirroring you and saying totally the wrong thing. You did. You were very obedient. I can't ask for much more than that. Do as I'm doing, not as I say. Good. 1 more big breath. Exhaling. And then we'll give those legs a little rest before we move into side angle pose. So the legs stay exactly the same. And we'll bend the front knee. We'll rest the elbow on the knee. So come towards me again. That's it. And then bring your left arm over your ear. And if you can, look towards your left fingertips or look straight forwards if that's too much on the neck. But keep the hips low, the knee bent, the belly pulled in. Very nice. Good. 1 more big breath in. And breath out. Good. And then we'll slowly come up and release that. We'll turn the toes in again as we did before. And the heels out. And this time we'll just slide the hands down the legs. See how far you can take those hands down the legs. Catch a hold of your shins or possibly your ankles. And then just start to gently pull yourself towards your head towards the floor.
And then release the hands and just hang passive for a moment like you did on the other side. And then slowly walk the hands towards your front foot, towards your right foot. And as you do so, turn towards me, towards your right foot, Sharon the other way. Am I right? I'm getting it. Now I'm worried I'm getting it wrong. Stepping back to our plank pose. Nice strong plank. Janet, sink the hips a bit. Good. And Sharon, sink your hips a fraction too. Great. And then drop the knees, bend the elbows behind you as you slowly lower onto your belly. And then take that nice back bend, rolling the shoulders back, elbows in if you can there, Bridget, good. Push back into child's pose. Take a couple of breaths. And then we'll tuck the toes and move to down dog. So here in down dog, we'll take that pulse once again, inhaling up onto the toes. Exhale, squeeze the heels down. And one more. And then dropping the knees, making your way to 4-point kneeling. Now, if the last exercise of extending arms and legs felt quite difficult for you, then you can just repeat it, taking one arm and the other arm, one leg and the other leg. If you want something a little bit stronger, you can attempt to take opposite arm and leg at the same time. But if you do that, make sure there's none of this sort of thing happening where there's movement in the hips or shoulders. You want to keep your torso completely still and level and just extend from a very still body, okay? So either one arm and one leg at a time or taking two limbs together, opposite arm and leg. And just really focusing on the belly pulling in and the core engaging as much as you can. Very nice. And if you're doing opposite arms and legs, you'll do two on each side. Otherwise, you'll do all four limbs one by one. And then from here, we're going to step that left foot forwards and just make sure that your right knee is back so you've got enough space to sink the hips. And then we'll float up and we'll bring the hands to the heart. Find that twist first and then hook the elbow outside the knee and press that elbow against the knee to twist the spine. And then from here, we're going to come straight to pigeon pose. So you're just going to tiptoe the foot to the other side of the mat and then roll to the blade of the foot and take the knee down. And you should land in pigeon or land on your bum. Is that going to be too much on your knee? Yeah, right. The other way of doing it is what we did at the beginning of class, which is just ankle over knee and pull the knee into the chest. If you can see, it's still pigeon, but you're doing it on your back. So you can either do pigeon lying down or sitting up. It's a bit softer lying down because you haven't got gravity pressing you into your knee. So that's it. Just cross, Sharon, cross the ankle over the knee and then thread the hand between your legs. No, thread your left hand in between you, the gap between your legs. Yes. Catch that knee and pull it in. Perfect. Good. So you probably should still feel that stretch in the glute and hip. Janet, can you get your knee a little bit more that way? That's it. So you don't want to be resting on your butt cheek. You want to pick it up. Bridget as well, take your knee out to the side rather than pointing forwards. So the way to do it is you're like that. So lift off your hip, then take the knee out. There you go. And now tiptoe those toes backwards, your back toes behind you, until you feel the hips sinking. Does your knee feel okay? Great. And then you can come forwards and really allow the weight to sink down. You should feel it in the left butt cheek, the left buttock and glute. Is that okay, Sharon, on your knees? And then slowly coming up. And Sharon, you can stay down and just swap sides. And we will swap sides too. So you're going to swing the right leg round, step the left leg back. And again, if you find yourself resting on your right buttock, you lift off the buttock and then take that knee out to the side and then tiptoe your left toes to the back of the room. That's exactly it, Bridget. Great. Tiptoe that knee back. And then when you feel you can drop your hips, you can come down onto your elbows. Just take your knee a little bit further towards Eve, out to the side, out towards the window. Is it a bit icky, your knee? Right, do you want to do what Sharon's doing on this side, at the front here? Yeah. So lie on your back and just cross your right ankle over your left knee, just like we did, that's it, and thread between. Perfect. So if ever the knees feel a bit funny in pigeon, you can do an equally good job lying on your back. A few deep breaths here. And then everyone can join Sharon and Bridget lying on the back, and we'll all just hug the knees into the chest here and just release the hips out. And then we'll place the feet down onto the floor. Make sure your heels are quite close into your hips here, and they're about a hip's width apart, hands down by your sides. Pressing your lower back into the mat and pulling your belly button in. And then slowly lift your hips, roll up through your spine and come up onto your shoulders. Maybe walk the shoulders in towards each other a bit. And then press through your heels and push your hips towards the ceiling, up into bridge pose. And find your breath here in your belly. Good, one more big inhale. And then slowly release and roll back down. And then just bring both knees in together. Take your arms out to the sides and drop your knees to the floor to the right to give your spine a little twist here. And then pull the belly in and lift the knees back up and over the other way. And then gently make your way to Shavasana. Just relax on your back, take your feet out, let them just roll out to the sides. Take your arms away from your body, your palms facing up, and just take a deep breath in and exhale out through the mouth. And then just let your body rest and relax, releasing any remaining tension. And if you're at home, just stay in your relaxation as long as you can, or move into a meditation practice.